Time now to turn our attention to business. For that, Marcus Carlson joins us. First up, Italy's Prime Minister getting down to business.
Yeah, or at least trying to. Hi there, Mark. Hi there, everyone. Matteo Renzi is pledging to boost Italy's battered economy within 100 days. And to do just that, he's put forward a package of economic reforms. The flagship measure is a €10 billion tax cut for low and middle income workers. Renzi says it will put €1,000 back into the pockets of 10 million Italians every year. In a bid to boost hiring, Renzi also wants to lower taxes for businesses. In return, he wants to hike the capital gains tax and also launch a spending review. He says the reforms are possible without breaking the budget. Now, Renzi is trying to boost the Eurozone's third largest economy after 2 consecutive years of recession, but he needs the approval of the Italian parliament, and that could be easier said than done. Our correspondent Seema Gupta told us more about Renzi's balancing act earlier.
He needs the approval from the lower house and the Senate in order to get these legislation, if you like, approved. And at the moment, it still remains to be seen. He also needs to deal with the interest groups, whether it's the unions on one side or the business lobby on the other. We'll have to examine in detail what exactly he's presented today and whether it makes all parties happy. And if some of them are too left-leaning, he's not likely to get the support of his centre-right partners who want to see things done particularly in a different way.
Moving on now, the company behind the mobile game Candy Crush Saga has unveiled the details of its much-awaited share float later this month. Game maker King says it will sell shares for between $21 and $24 each. That price range would value the UK-based company at up to $7.6 billion. King is one of many companies this year to opt for an IPO as they try to capitalize on an improved economic picture. Delana D'Souza has more.
King Digital Entertainment hit a sweet spot with Candy Crush. They are set to list on the New York Stock Exchange in late March, a listing that could value the company just under $7.6 billion. Candy Crush Saga was the most downloaded app of 2013. King won't be able to rely on its success forever, though, and needs new games to keep people hooked. King's listing is creating a lot of buzz, but it's far from alone to turn to the markets this year. Europe saw its biggest listing in January when Numericab's majority owner Altice sold €1.8 billion worth of shares. Retailers in the UK have also jumped on board. High street names Poundland and Pets at Home listed in London on Wednesday, raising over $1 billion. Analysts say the rush to the stock markets highlights a return in confidence. Impressive gains from newly listed companies have also whet investor appetites. Britain's Royal Mail, for instance, has seen its stock price almost double since its IPO in October. European companies raised more than $36 billion from IPOs last year. 2014 has seen a strong start to the year, and more companies are headed to the stock market.
And we're going to take a look at the stock markets next. In the United States, shares closed fairly flat in general on Wednesday. The Nasdaq bucked the trend and finished 0.4% higher. Investors there seem to be worrying about a slowdown in China, as well as geopolitical tensions over Ukraine. It was a more negative picture at the close in Europe. Concerns over Ukraine and China also weighing on the markets of this side of the Atlantic. Investors also digested news of a surprise drop in the Eurozone's industrial production in January. As you just heard, there are a lot of market jitters when it comes to Ukraine. Speaking earlier, though, Germany's finance minister Wolfgang Schäuble tried to play down the economic risks. He said the potential fallout for Europe would be manageable.
We take the financial and economic risks from the serious situation in Ukraine, it's not just about Crimea, very seriously. But we believe the economic and financial effects are and will be manageable. I think that applies to Germany and to Europe overall.
OK, we're going to finish up with a story of the French billionaire who's betting on a car hire scheme in London. Vincent Bolloré was in the British capital on Wednesday to sell his future plans to Londoners. He wants to park 3,000 electric cars on the streets of the British capital by 2018. The scheme will be serviced by around 6,000 charging points in London. The billionaire's Bolloré Group already operates a similar system called Autolib in Paris. Bolloré says Autolib will be profitable in the third quarter of this year. Bloomberg reports it could take 6 or even 7 years before the London scheme is profitable as well. So a little bit of an uphill battle there for Vincent Bolloré, but I suppose he's confident that he'll get there in the end when it comes to profitability. And with that, I'm going to send it back to you, Mark.
Marcus, the Paris bike scheme, Velib, caught on, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And I suppose Autolib has also caught on to a certain extent. Not as much as Velib, though, but it has caught on. So now we'll see if Londoners are willing to drive around the streets as well in electric vehicles.
Okay, well, time for you to get on your bike. Marcus, thank you very much indeed. Marcus Carlson there with All the Business. Time now for Media Watch. That means, of course,